It's been a week now. Things look a lot better out here. Let's talk about what's happening with the crop.
Well, you know, we got that moisture and we've had some temperatures. We still had some cool nights, but you can look at this field and like you said, what a difference a week makes. This wheat is improving. It's going to continue to improve over the next couple of weeks.
Now, Kim, let's start talking about that weather. It's a warm spring-like day. We've had some moisture recently. Is that getting folks feeling pretty optimistic? And if so, you know, is caution really still the word of the day?
The moisture received was timely. We got it just coming out of dormancy. We've got some relatively good topsoil moisture over most of the state. You look at the short-term weather forecast, it's for normal temperatures, normal moisture. Of course, today we're supposed to be about 84 degrees. That's going to be good for the growth, but too many of those is going to dry this soil out. I talked to one a farmer, and he's talking about he dug down and he's got moisture about 14 inches. But now with the dry subsoil, and if we get some warm, dry days, and the 90-day forecast is below average precipitation and above average temperatures, we could be sucking that moisture out the top of the bottom, and this good wheat here can dry up pretty fast.
Now that optimism that's out in the market, you know, that short term, people are kind of excited. Is that going to lead to some marketing opportunities out there?
Well, the market's excited about the moisture. You notice it drove it down about 30 to 40 cents as it came out of dormancy. The anticipation for better yields, lower prices, and then we recovered about 12 cents this last week. I think it's a short term. We've got to see if that 90-day forecast is correct. If we don't continue to get moisture, then I think we can be looking at some higher prices.
Very good. Now, as we stay with those prices, we've had a little bit of a bump recently. Are the funds playing a role in that?
Yeah, we came into the last month with the funds in net short positions. You know, you can look back at last year when at this time the funds had near record long positions. They had to sell those positions out. That drove the market. The funds are already short, and they were buying this week, and that's another reason we had these higher prices, the funds coming in buying and coming off those short positions.
Talk to me about the role that ethanol and wheat is playing in ethanol and where that reflects on the prices.
The market's reporting more and more ethanol plants that are shifting from corn to wheat. It takes a little longer for them to process wheat. It's not quite as efficient, but the wheat-corn price ratio is now favorable for processing that wheat. Plus, some of them are running 75-80% capacity. They have the processing time to buy the lower-cost wheat to generate that ethanol.
Very good. Now let's move overseas a little bit. Let's talk about the situation in Russia and the effect that has.
Well, Russia, they are determined, and we've talked about it the last couple of years, to be a major exporter. They had a short crop this last year. They still wanted to be in the export market, so they released the government stocks to meet export demand. It came out an announcement this week that the Russian government during harvest are going to be replacing those stocks. That should drive up the price of wheat in Russia, Ukraine, Kazakhstan, those exporting areas. That'll keep the U.S. wheat more competitive in the world export market.
All right, Kim, so taking all that in mind, you know, we've got producers out there that still have their 2012 wheat in the barn. We've got guys who are looking now at hedging the 2013 crop. What's your advice to them?
Well, I think producers should be selling wheat on this little rally we've got now, because if we get moisture in the next couple of weeks, I think this price can either stay where it is or go lower. They're paying the storage and interest on it, continuing to pay that. They may want to keep some, because if it dries up, like the long-range forecast says, if the moisture, start getting short of moisture, wheat prices could come up. If they're looking at forward contracting or hedging the 2013 crop, I think it's wise to come in and do 10 or 15%. It's not going to have much impact on the risk, but at least you'll have something done. And if prices do go lower, and if we get moisture, they for sure will go lower than they are right now. Then they will have some price, and I think it'll help them sleep at night.